everyone, welcome back. I am Deepak Niyal, and in previous step we have discussed about pre-processing of a C or C++ program, and now we are going to talk about inline function, which actually removes some drawback of the macros. So let's move ahead. What is an inline function? We discussed one example where we were calculating square. Now let's try to solve that problem using inline function because we get expected output using this inline function. So what we can do, we have to just write inline in front of a function. So if you look at this part, except inline, it looks like a normal function, but it is not a normal function. There is some difference which we will discuss later. But first consider this thing. We have to put inline in front of a function, and this inlines this function. What is meaning of inline? We will discuss later, but just understand that create a C program, and now you can write int x equal to 36 divided by square of 6. Now it is going to evaluate this function first, right? And it will return 36. Now 36 divided by 36 and answer will be 1. So if you print this statement, answer will be 1. Okay. So this is how inline function works. So now we have three things. One is inline function, another is macro, as it is removing drawbacks of macro, and third thing is normal functions. And what is a normal function? If you remove this inline from here, you will get a normal function or the function that we generally write. Okay. So there should be some difference between these three. Discuss these one by one. First, discuss the difference between inline function and macros. So first point is inline function are passed by compiler, whereas macros are expanded by C or C++ preprocessor. So we can say that these are expanded. Okay, these are not passed, these are expanded. Second point, there is a type checking in the inline function, whereas there is no type checking. Third point, what about program size? If you use inline function, it will increase the program size, and similarly, if you use macros, this will also increase the program size. Okay. Fourth point, if you pass something to a function that is evaluated before, okay, but in case of macros, arguments are not evaluated before macro expansion. So this was the difference between inline function and macros. Okay. So this was the difference between inline function and macros. Now let's talk about inline function and normal functions. So what happens in case of inline function? Whenever compiler finds a call to inline function, it writes a copy of the compiled function definition. Okay. But in case of normal function, a normal function call is generated. So if you know about operating system, so there is a thing called context switch. So whenever a normal function call is generated, a context switch is performed. And this is time consuming because you need to save a lot of data in stack and then need to load another kind of data for the another function. Okay. But in case of inline function, there is a compiled copy of the function definition which is copied at same place. So in this case, less time is consumed, and less time is consumed in comparison to the normal function. But now you can ask one question: will a function become inline if we put inline in front of that, and compiled code of that function definition will be copied every time? So answer is no, because that is compiler dependent. Even if you write inline in front of a function, compiler can make that function as inline or can keep it as a normal function. So by putting inline in front of a function, you are just directing compiler to make that inline if it is possible. Okay. So compiler will see if it can be optimized or not. Clear? So you can't decide that. And generally one thing is important, only make small functions as inline. Okay. This is a question for you. What if we make large functions as inline? What is going to happen if we make a large function as inline? So you need to answer this thing in comment. I will be waiting for your responses and try to make these sessions as interactive as possible. This will be very helpful for all of you. Okay. One more difference is there between inline function and macros that I left. So let me write that for you. If we talk about memory assignment, there is no memory assignment for macros. But for the inline function, there is a default storage in symbol table until they are forced to occupy the storage. Okay. Now let's try to solve some questions. So the first question is it error if we provide a header file twice? So its answer is yes and no. So you have to give its answer. I am not providing any answer right now. There is a macro here. You need to tell its answer. Third question. Okay, so try solving these three questions and then we can discuss these problems in comment section. If you have any doubt or query, just post your query in the comments and we'll try to respond back as soon as possible. Okay, so guys, see you in the next video. In the next tutorial, we are going to talk about some problem statement from the macros and inline functions. Okay, so see you in the next video. Till then, thank you so much.